What's up, fans? It's old Randy Ritchie here with one Branden Campbell, or also known as Badass Branden Campbell. Branden, what is up?
Nothing much, just another day in the PPW Training Academy.
Do me a favor. Speak from the diaphragm, Branden, the diaphragm. And it's not just you, it's everybody. When I was your guys' age, I had sales experience, so I learned how to put on that bullshit voice. But if you watch WWE programming, they're learning in NXT, but especially Raw, for example. They just started handing Dominic the microphone over the last 3 to 4 months, and he started out not saying much, but speaking from the diaphragm. Is that hurtful or helpful information?
Oh, it's definitely helpful. I think
if it's helpful, then do it!
It's definitely helpful for sure. Everything you teach me is helpful in all ways, shapes, and forms.
Can you believe this shit? Did you hear that, you naysayers?
Yep, I said it.
But you say it from the diaphragm.
No, I did not, but...
Would you be so kind as to speak from the diaphragm, my friend? Make your outside ring work, match your inside ring work. This effing kid works his ass off. Always willing to learn and try new shit. Was baptized by fire and passed said baptismal. And now we're going on to the next step. So, while we do this, man, instead of me doing the usual clusterfuck or David Dobrik's special brother type of video vlog. You know David Dobrik?
Yeah, I used to watch him back in 2020-ish.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about you, my friend. Let's try to organize a little bit, and let's play to our fans, let's play to our prospective fans, but more importantly, let's play to somebody within World Wrestling Entertainment that might come across this, How old are you, man?
I'm currently 23 years old.
Didn't that just happen?
December 29th of last year.
Well, I guess time flies when you're an old fart.
Yeah, it sure does. It's hitting. It is definitely hitting.
What would you know? 20, that's you, dude, you're the perfect age, you're in your perfect development as far as this goes, What would you say? Do you feel you have timing in that ring?
I feel like it's definitely gotten better. 2 years of this training stuff. I've watched myself make a lot of mistakes to making fewer mistakes, getting my timing down, learning from it, and it's definitely a helpful thing if anybody's getting into this for the first time or retraining or whatever it is. Timing's the most important thing in this game.
I love that you see that, because I preach that shit, and a lot of people pretend like they don't hear it, or it goes one ear and out the other, or they're incapable of hearing it, and that's what makes you, one of the things that makes you special is you can get that. People don't want to believe or accept the fact that to make a living in this industry and to have a quote-unquote future, you must work for World Wrestling Entertainment. AEW, we don't know yet. But that being said, they make the rules, and one of their biggest pieces of criteria, the things they're looking for, is teachability and somebody that gets that, and humility along with confidence. You getting confident?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting confident. As a quiet kid in school, always...
Quiet kid here, a guy didn't say shit for the first year.
Yeah, I was the quiet kid, sat in the back of the classroom, didn't really engage, but I always known that this is what I wanted to do, and to just step out in front of a live crowd and just all the butterflies left in the back, it just spilt out of me. I'm so much more confident in myself out in public, not just in the wrestling ring, but out in public. Nice. I'm a lot more confident as a person, and it definitely helped. It definitely helped me break out of my shell.
And I was just kidding about that. He did speak for a year, but he spoke more quality than quantity. He's definitely no nervous talker, but he said enough to where you're inquisitive. I was inquisitive, and that's what WWE is looking for too. There's something there, and it was worth the patience to start figuring that out with you, and the fucking work ethic, you got a great work ethic. He still pouts when you leave him out of drills. Like, let's say I got a bunch of new guys here, and I'm trying to get their affairs in order first. They're part of the training, because he's so much farther advanced in that he pouts like, why am I not in there? You know, even though later he figures out why when we start putting you guys through more and more basics, you know. The other thing I like about you is this, and how long I've been saying it, at least a year, about if you can't wrestle in the wrestling industry, your ass better look like it can wrestle. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, UFC / WWE. What do you think of that?
I still haven't read up too much on it, but I know a lot of people were not reading the article, just reading the caption and jumping to conclusions.
Yep.
I didn't worry about it or stress about it. I think it's going to do well for business on both ends, honestly, and I'm excited for what it's going to bring into the future, honestly.
Yeah. Well, for our purposes and for your purposes, this is why I've been squealing that stuff. Even when I even just casually click on a current NXT, I don't know nobody there right now except for that mustache guy, if he's still there, but it don't matter. But the point is, every friggin' match starts out wrestling. You know, there was a time, I'd say 10 years ago, and I don't know if you're old enough to recall, but World Wrestling Entertainment's pay-per-view buys were down when they were getting their shit together for the network, and I think still selling pay-per-view in addition to the network. And people were saying that, oh, it's down, it's because UFC is hurting it. Well, now they've eliminated their competition, as has UFC. My point is this, and the example is Uriah Faber. You know who that was?
Yes, I know the name.
Oh, imagine if Uriah Faber was around now when this is taking place, and Uriah Faber has ran the gauntlet with UFC, because those careers don't last long.
Not at all.
He's got somewhere to go, i.e. Matt Riddle, who is still drawing great money, but he's getting that egg off his face from that, the drug use. But the point being is he's going to get his shit together, and that's what I think you're going to start seeing. Mm-hmm. And I think Matt Riddle is a great example. I mean, all of them are, but Matt Riddle is a great example insofar as how to take that style into our style and really be one compelling ass performer. And you've upped your wrestling game like a son of a bitch, is what I'm saying. I'm putting you over, I guess, at the end of the day, and we'll keep honing those skills for you. If anybody with any consequence is paying attention, got it up here. How come you wanted to do this so bad? He came to me. He took the initiative.
I feel like the PPW universe hasn't really gotten a whole lot out of me. You know, they come in every Friday or Saturday, they see me compete.
Yeah.
But they don't really know who Branden Campbell is or what he's really stands for, or what he's about. So
who is he?
He's just one kid with a chip on his shoulder, and one kid not to mess with, and one kid who loves the sport of pro wrestling.
Oh, why do you have the chip, my friend?
I think I've always had it on me, you know. It was 7th grade when I knew I wanted to do this, and a lot of people teased me, picked on me. And honestly, it didn't anger me. It just motivated me to get here even more. Now that I'm here, so many supporters, even the doubters, you know, they all got me here one way or the other.
You know, when I was a kid, same thing. Me and Jesse Gonzalez took on the whole 6th grade in a tag team match during lunch because we were the only ones that would fess up to knowing anything about wrestling. When I was 8 years old, my man, I used to make money, and whatever money I had, I would get off the school bus, take a shortcut through the swamp to the liquor store to buy wrestling mags. So I know what you mean. Mm-hmm. And everybody would poke fun at you about it. So, I mean, that says a lot about your character now. Do you think there were a lot of them that were giving you shit about being a wrestling fan that were secret closet fans?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'd get it's fake, it's scripted, it's for little kids, all that stuff, and it's just, you know, they liked a lot of stuff that I could have shitted on, but I left it alone because, you know, I knew who I was the better and bigger person about it, and I'm here, and then I look at those people who doubted me and I see where they're at. I won't say anything specific, but I was the one who had the motivation and the grit to get here because it was a dream, and I chased it and I didn't let it go, no matter how hard any obstacle in front of me got. You just can't let go of your dreams, and you can't give up on yourself, and you can make anything possible.
I'm one, too, who has one hell of a chip on my shoulder for a lot of different reasons. And when I broke into the industry, I figured out very quickly that was not a popular, it was no attribute. You know? And if I wanted to be a part of this industry, And if I wanted to make any money at this industry, if I wanted to know this industry, I had to learn how to harness that shit. It holds true today tenfold. You know, you saw that thing today. I'm going to ask your opinion just after I bust this out real fast, and I'm going somewhere with it. Triple H finally put out a statement today about the independent wrestlers have more habits than college athletes. And that being said, the biggest ingredient they want is mental and emotional stability. Someone is always watching and watching your reactions to everything. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree. Even today, I make a lot of mistakes, and I have bad habits too, but I'm always trying to fix my mistakes when I'm watching my matches back. I always think to myself, what can I do to not make that mistake, fix things? And before I try new moves, I don't do it out in the match. I do it while training, and until I get it down, that's when I do it, you know. I know everybody in this sport has a love for it, and they want to do great and do big things, but like as you say, it's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take things slow. You really got to perfect your craft at this. You know, you don't want to go out there and not only make yourself look bad, but the place as a whole.
And that's something I noticed about you too. I carry with me a horrifying sense of false responsibility, but you seem to carry just enough healthy sense of responsibility, concerned about the other guy's safety, and you just said it yourself, concerned about making the other guy out there look like shit. One of the habits that Triple H is talking about, and please don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, I do, is that, you know, two guys going out there thinking, how can I make this guy look good is success? And that's how World Wrestling Entertainment operates, you know, and that's how their top guys operate. That's how their best paid guys operate, and that's how you're operating, dude. And we notice that. You know, you can lead a person to water, but you can't make him drink.
Exactly.
You know, led you to water, and I watch everything you do. And so does Casey. And so do the guys. And everybody on this roster loves working with you, which is saying a lot. That's a start, you know?
Definitely. I always take constructive criticism as constructive criticism. I don't take it to heart. Yeah, I have a bad match and it sucks. I have a bad night and it sucks, but honestly, you need that because it motivates you to want to do better.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go home and pout about it, about getting yelled at or getting jumped on my case, you know. I take that very, very well, and I learn from it, you know. Some guys want to go out there, have a bad match, and be told, hey, that was a good match. Yeah. I'd rather be told that wasn't a good match, but don't worry about it. Fix it next week.
Yeah.
And boom, I'm picked up already, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm focused on next week already.
Or blame the other guy.
Exactly.
Even when you do have someone to blame, you don't blame them. You know, that's what's cool about you is, and I think that at the end of the day, with today's quote-unquote educated fan, the ones that don't have an axe to grind, really, it projects in your in-ring work.
I totally agree, 100%.
You know, and I've noticed too the last 3 or 4 months, you starting to come out and develop a character to go along with that in-ring, knowing full well you need both. You know, talk about your character, man. What's your character? Where are we going with this character?
Well, my character's developed quite a bit. You know, you came out with the colorful singlet, straps down, released the beast, and then I slowly evolved into this face-painted rebel where it all inspired one day in class. I was just doodling, and that's where the X symbol came from, the red and white.
What class?
It was a study hall.
That a boy.
It was a study hall, so we weren't really doing much, you know. It was something like straight out of a movie you would see, just...
What kind of movie? What movie in particular?
One of those like 2006, 2005 high school movies where I was that one quiet kid.
Gotcha.
And it stuck with me, and I held it in a notebook for years on end, and then finally we did that 3 Stages of Hell with me, Sensei, and Jose.
What was that again, man?
It was...
I forgot about it. Yeah, it's ringing a bell. I know we did it, but This is what happens when you get old.
It was me, Jose, and Sensei in a triple threat, but we did 3 different stages of it. We all had a championship.
Shit, yeah.
I was the King of the Ironman and Challenge Pro champion at the time.
Yep.
And Jose was the world champion. And the first round was a 30-minute King of the Ironman.
Challenge Pro. Mm-hmm. You said that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The first round was a 30-minute Ironman match between between the 3 of us. Hell of a time. I ended up retaining. Then the third stage was for the Challenge Pro titles, so Challenge Pro Championship rules. I unfortunately got thrown over the top rope and was eliminated. And Jose and Sam closed the show out like they always do, stole the show, and we all walked away with a title that day. And I think we all walked away with a little more respect from the PPW universe, and it just went on from there.
That match is on our Patreon, and this is the kind of match I'm talking about. We got almost 500 exclusive matches on our Patreon. The highest tier is $6. You're not going to spend a better $6 on that content. Or you can wait till we start doing Throwback Thursdays and get to that point. But we urge you, support us on Patreon now and get it now. Again, people spend a lot more money on a lot worse quality crap than even that match alone. I forgot all about that match now that you're telling me about it. I remember. How green were you then?
I was still fairly green. I was still my first year.
I remember how compelling that was, dude.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I wish I could go back every day to that.
Well, we're going to get there again,
Definitely.
How many matches have you had?
I'm around 115, I believe.
50? Or 15? 115 matches.
115.
Unbelievable. That's another fallacy today is these guys that claim to have 8 to 10 years in the business and I'm a ring general, man. Working every 4 to 6 weeks over that time period, taking a year off for this, that, or the other, and coming back and claiming that year. This kid hustles his balls off. He puts wrestling before everything, I mean, not everything, but everything that's important because he wants to make it in this business, and he's gonna, It's gonna take, doing this for a while. Let's see what you're made of, But at the end of the day, dude, I see no signs of your ass burning out. The other thing I like about you is I'll come up with, and I don't know where I come up with them. I mean, you tell me the truth right here on camera, but some of the ideas I come up with, I'm trying to come up with things that are different than haven't been done before, that certainly aren't being done, but things that our top guys, and you're one of those guys now, can bring into fruition, knowing full well that these are this is the foundation, because we're always going to come up with more. But I gay off on watching this kind of concept that's never been done before, and then watch you go out there and implement that shit. What do you really think of some of those ideas like that one?
I'm always up for a new idea and try something different. We have a lot of different concepts here. Like last week, we just brought back the Armageddon Gauntlet.
Oh, that was the best one we've done.
Hell of a night that was. We have the Every Man for Themselves challenge where you're required to hold the middle rope and tag in and out. Challenge Pro Championship, King of the Ironman Championship.
Yes, there have been King of the Ironman matches. Yes, they weren't very popular, but I don't think I've ever known a company that's made a division. And this is just a testament to your work. You held that thing for how many months?
8 months. 8 months.
And this is probably 2.5 times a week, having 30-minute matches. That's the premise. The match goes 30 minutes. The man with the most pinfalls and submissions at the end is the winner, And that's a testament to who most people would consider green. And I think you consider yourself green.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But you are coming along just because you're not an asshole and you listen,
I don't feed my ego whatsoever. I don't even think I have an ego. I'm very respectful for this business. I love watching the new guys come in here, giving them tips, helping them out, and giving back, because I was once one of those kids walking in through that door for the first time, nervous as all hell. But it slowly spills out of you, and the more ring time you get, the more better you'll get at this, believe me. You just got to give it your all. You're going to have practices where you can't get something down. Don't beat yourself up, because you never know. The next week you're going to start getting it down. Everyone's going to make mistakes. You're not going to be good at something. you're going to come in here either with an athletic background or not. We got a lot of those guys who come in here with athletic backgrounds or zero athletic backgrounds. And all of those guys I notice have heart. None of them pout or whine when they're not doing something right.
What?
None of them whine or pout when they're not getting something down right. You know,
I thought you said power wine. I was like, is that a new term? He taught me, helping me be cool. He taught me I fucks with it.
Yeah, I'm getting them a little hip over here.
Little hip.
But yeah, everyone who comes in here has a good attitude. You know, we try to keep everyone to have a good attitude because we want everyone to succeed here. That's our main thing, is we want everyone to succeed here.
Yeah, we work like a team, just like Pro Wrestling Entertainment. The internet wrestling fan that doesn't spend any money on wrestling, which is funny to me, but they have the strongest opinions.
Oh, yeah.
They like to vilify World Wrestling Entertainment, but at the end of the day, that's how they operate. They're a professional sports team. That's what we emanate. And even if by chance, by some miracle, and I just don't see it happening, Tony Khan and AEW can weather the storm and be a viable place to work, people who think like that, like this guy, are only going to be an attribute. When Japan gets its shit together after going through this COVID stuff, it's another thing. Same thing, Mexico, Puerto Rico, you know, and you'll be ready for that shit.
Definitely.
You know, I think you're ready now, to be honest with you, for someone to take a look at you, because there's so much there to work with. There is no bad habits, you know. You look at things, which is cool, because I'm always trying to challenge you guys with shit, you know, always.
Yep.
But you look motivated, and you act motivated, and you attack that shit. And like you say, sometimes it gets to the point where we're just not getting it tonight. We revisit, and what the fuck happens? You know what I mean? And your innovation is really fucking coming out too, and starting to develop. You know, you've been a pleasure to fucking work with.
Thank you.
You know, what are some of your fondest memories since you've been wrestling?
PPW 400 was one. It was sold out here. It was my first world title match. It's one that sticks with me very closely. Just having all those people behind me, it was a hell of a night, hell of a match I had. Winning my first title, which was the Challenge Pro Championship, it taught me a whole hell of a lot. It taught me to challenge myself. I do things that I wouldn't think I could do 2 years ago starting training here. I'm flying off the top rope.
Dude, it's amazing how light on your feet. What's your legit height? 6'4"?
6'4".
You got to see this fucking kid's agility at 6'4". And no offense to nobody, I'm just going to say it. I like to refer to it as, and I possess it myself, takes one to know one, superhuman retard strength. Holy shit, when it's on, you should see. When he needs it, it's like watching an effing cartoon.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know I had it in me, buddy.
Oh my God.
It just came out one night, and it was there.
And it's come out 100 times since.
Yeah, it's a switch that I'll flip when I need it.
You really make me and Casey go like this at the same time. You know, sometimes with that, you know, and Jesus, man. So, you know, your attitude's in the right place, and the two things you brought up, the key words, and you brought them up, not me, ego. Very unpopular effing thing in this industry. And did you know that Punk and Casey are close? They have this really cool bond. It's you know, it started before Punk went to WWE. You know, I gave him his first match. He had his first handful of matches with me, and we got along. And then when I would do certain shows, like some of my sold shows, I would bring him in, you know, as mid-card, because I knew the people that I was doing this in front of, like, let's say Kenosha, Wisconsin, 2,700 people. I've got Jerry the King Lawler versus the King of Old School, Steve Corino, in the main event, while Kingfish was on Raw and Steve Corino was the ECW champ. Then I'd bring in Barry Horowitz as a special attraction, because people didn't know where to book Barry Horowitz. Everybody knew Barry Horowitz. And then I would take one of my top guys, and Punk would come in for me for such a reasonable price. And I'd say, all right, fucking work with this kid and tell him what he needs to hear. Don't hold back, you know. But that being said, he met Casey then when Casey was green. As Casey evolved, and we're talking about Casey James, if you guys don't know. And Brandon, what were you watching in 2006? What?
It was 2006 No Mercy. It was Brian Kendrick and Paul Linden versus Cadillac Casey James, and Idle Stevens.
Was Michelle McCool there?
She was there.
Yeah, that was the first team she managed. The teachers' pets. But anyway, they formed that bond that just carried on, and then they got to work together at OVW. They worked the program, you know? And what was cool about that, when they're both under WWE contract, the internet was saying, oh no, Punk's got to work with Casey James and he don't do nothing. And then all of a sudden, man, they were doing just fucking gold, meeting in the middle, because that's how they both thought. And having a blast. You know, did you ever ask Casey about that?
I did not.
We're going to, so you can laugh your ass off and see. But the point I'm trying to make is that our kid thought a lot like you did, you know? But what he said to Casey when he got to when he was on top, and Casey was still with the company, when he first got on top, he said, give me a minute, that'll just take me a second. He said, yeah, they're all a bunch of assholes, but the only thing that changes when they get on top, now they're your assholes. You know? And I just thought to myself, man, they should put that on a motherfucking t-shirt. You know what I mean?
I'd buy it.
Yeah, who wouldn't, right? What do you want to close with? Anything that you want to get in? We're going to do this again.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going nowhere.
Yes, you are. It may be 2 years, it may be 2 months, it may be 5 years, but you just hang in there.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
It's something I live by every day I wake up. Just expect the unexpected, because you never know what's going to happen.
All right. Oh, go ahead, man. I thought that was the last thing you had to say. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go for it. I'll try to shut up.
Honestly, if anybody's just now getting into pro wrestling training or thinking about getting retrained, just go in it, go for it, don't give up, fight out your heart, and anything's possible.
Did you see that shit Will Ospreay said?
I did.
Do you remember off the top of your head what it was or no? We don't have to go there, but
for the most part, I know he said while looking into training schools, if they're giving if they run shows, first aid,
background check the trainer.
Yeah, background checks on the school and trainer.
Does your trainer just hit the ropes, or does he wrestle? I like that one.
Yeah.
And where that motherfucker been? No, they say that like we're.
Oh, yeah. I
was trying to be cool like you kids again. Where's your trainer been? You know, I really enjoyed the shit out of that, because would you say that? I mean, I know at one point Ospreay was like the #1 guy that the internet wrestling fan loved. And I love that he's learned that, because I watched him for a bit. Is he still in? Do you know if he's still at New Japan?
I believe he is.
I started watching some of that stuff, and impressed with watching that guy work. I hadn't seen him work since he was a greased up skinny, but he's over there dominating at his size, storytelling in that ring, along with all the cool shit that he could do. And then when I saw him, he had just publicly accepted a very lucrative contract right before COVID hit. So I haven't been paying much attention since. So obviously he's still there, like you said, and he learned a lot on that journey, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Make use of that stuff. And I know you do, dude. You make use of a lot of cool things that are out there, you know? All right, guys. Well, hopefully you have a little more information on one badass Branden Campbell, or Branden Campbell, Mama Campbell's favorite son.